let's be real, history class sometimes misses the best parts. It's not just about big battles and serious-looking people in portraits. Nope. It's also about the strange, the hilarious, and the just plain unbelievable moments that happened in between. So today, we're gonna dig into the stories that prove the past was way weirder, funnier, and more surprising than you ever thought possible.
All right, let's jump right in with a wild one. Imagine you're an ancient Persian leader. How do you make huge decisions? Well, you debate the issue once while you're completely drunk, and then you debate it all over again the next day, totally sober. An idea only got the green light if it sounded brilliant in both states of mind. Talk about a system for balancing that bold, creative spark with some cold, hard logic, right?
And believe me, the Persians were not the only ones with some out there ideas. It turns out that when you mix absolute power with a bottomless bank account, things just have a way of getting pretty strange. So let's take a look at how the rich and powerful have shown off in some truly bizarre ways throughout history. Okay, try to imagine this. You're throwing a huge party, and you spend a fortune to rent a piece of fruit. Not to eat it, oh no. You rent it just so it can sit on your table and look impressive. That is how obsessed 18th century Europeans were with pineapples. They were so exotic, so hard to get, that just having one made you look like a superstar. You could literally rent one for an evening, show everybody what a big shot you were, and then send it right back the next day. It is the perfect example of how luxury isn't about usefulness, it's all about scarcity.
And speaking of absolute power, Roman Emperor Caligula really loved his horse, Incitatus. So much so that this horse lived a life of just insane luxury. We're talking a stable made of marble, a trough carved from ivory, and a whole team of servants. But the part that just breaks your brain? Ancient historians swear Caligula was dead serious about making his horse a consul, one of the highest political positions in all of Rome. That's what happens when you're an emperor who can do literally anything that pops into your head.
So from ancient Rome, we flash forward to modern Colombia, because the powerful have always had a taste for the exotic. In the 1980s, the infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar used his massive fortune to build a private zoo on his estate. He illegally smuggled in animals from all over the world, including, most famously, 4 African hippos. And here is where one man's weird hobby turns into a giant ecological headache. See, when Escobar's empire finally collapsed, the authorities managed to relocate most of the zoo animals. But the hippos, they were just too big, too aggressive, too much to handle. So they were just left behind. And well, they didn't just survive, they thrived. They broke out, found their way into Colombia's rivers, and with 0 natural predators, they started breeding like crazy. Now, the country is dealing with a totally unique invasive species problem, a huge, growing herd of what people actually call the cocaine hippos. Every single one of them a descendant of those original 4. But hey, it wasn't just the mega rich and powerful who had their quirks. The past is just filled with surprising little details about the everyday lives of regular people. Customs and realities that were once totally normal, but would seem just completely bizarre to us today. So back in medieval Europe, drinking a simple glass of water could actually kill you. Seriously. Rivers and wells were just disgusting, filled with all kinds of waste and disease. So what did everyone drink instead? Beer. Even kids drank a super weak, low-alcohol version of it called small beer. You see, the brewing process boiled the water and killed all the nasty stuff, making it the safest, most reliable way to stay hydrated. Picture this. You get pulled over and given a ticket. Not for speeding, but for your fashion sense. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, in 18th century Stockholm, that was a real thing. You could get an actual fine from the government for wearing, wait for it, too many buttons. I know, it sounds totally nuts to find someone for button overload, but the authorities in Stockholm were dead serious about it. They thought having too many buttons was a sign of vanity, a moral threat. They also saw it as wasteful spending, a symbol of foreign trends they didn't like, and get this, even a risk to the social order, because they were afraid it might start blurring the lines between the rich and the poor. It's just a fascinating peek into how anxious a government can get over something as simple as fashion. So yeah, fashions and what we drink have definitely changed. But you know what hasn't? Complaining. Some parts of the human experience are just timeless. From terrible customer service to hating your job, our ancestors were venting about the exact same stuff we do. What you're looking at right here, this is the world's oldest known customer complaint. It is a nearly 4,000-year-old clay tablet from a guy named Nani, and he is absolutely ripping into a merchant for sending him bad quality copper and for being rude to his delivery guy. I mean, you can feel the anger. It has the exact same energy as a 1-star Yelp review from last Tuesday. You'd think painting the Sistine Chapel would be a dream gig, right? Well, Michelangelo absolutely hated it. He always said he was a sculptor, not a painter, and he complained nonstop about how miserable the job was. The constant neck pain, paint dripping in his eyes, and having the Pope nagging him all the time. It's such a humanizing thought. One of the greatest artists in history was just as miserable at his job as any of us have ever been. And Michelangelo was so famously grumpy that his biggest rival, the painter Raphael, might have made fun of him for it in the most epic way possible. It's widely believed that in his masterpiece, The School of Athens, Raphael secretly painted Michelangelo into the scene as the gloomy, mopey philosopher Heraclitus. It's just a brilliant, subtle dig that has lasted for over 500 years. So, we've seen how some things never change. But sometimes history isn't shaped by powerful people or grand plans at all. Sometimes the world changes forever because of a complete fluke, a clumsy mistake, or just pure chaotic chance. Okay, so in 1814 London, a gigantic vat holding more than 100,000 gallons of beer just burst. The force of it caused a domino effect, and suddenly a 15-foot-tall wave of beer came crashing through the streets. It was this surreal, bizarre industrial disaster. It flattened buildings and tragically killed 8 people. Not from drowning in beer, but from the raw force of the wave and collapsing walls. But hey, accidents can be brilliant too. The friction match? Totally invented by mistake. An English pharmacist was stirring a pot of chemicals, and he noticed a little dried clump on the end of his stirring stick. He tried to scrape it off on the floor, and poof, it burst into flames. Just like that, this simple accident made fire portable and easy for everyone. You know the saying, the best thing since sliced bread? Well, when the inventor Otto Rawither first showed off his bread slicing machine, bakers thought he was crazy. They mocked him. They said it was a stupid gimmick and that the bread would just go stale faster. But he didn't give up, and when pre-sliced bread finally hit the stores, people went wild for it. It was such a game changer that it literally became the gold standard for every great invention that came after. All of these stories, the weird luxuries, the strange rules, the lucky accidents, they all kind of lead to a bigger question, don't they? What is history? Is it just the big, important stuff that gets written down? Or is it something else? Something you find in the spaces between? Back in 1952, a composer named John Cage premiered a piece of music called 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For 4 minutes and 33 seconds, a pianist sits at a piano and plays absolutely nothing. Cage's whole point was radical. There's no such thing as true silence. The real music is all the other stuff you suddenly start to notice. The audience coughing, the hum of the air conditioning, the world just happening all around you. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. We spend so much time studying the official record of history, the loud, obvious notes. But maybe the real stories, the most fascinating ones, are the ones we have to listen for in the quiet. The rented pineapples, the accidental inventions, the 4,000-year-old customer complaints. These are the small, unintentional, and beautifully human moments that really tell us who we were and who we still are. It makes you wonder, what unbelievable stories are happening in the silence of our own time, just waiting for someone to finally hear them?